What's up, everyone? It's Aripsuas here, back here today, and we're going to be talking about how we can use my cryptocurrency operating system to securely store cryptocurrency. So what it means in plain English is that, like many people that I know, a lot of people actually keep their money in the exchange. And a lot of people feel the exchange because it kind of looks and feels like a bank account with these numbers on the screen and maybe uses multiple forms of authentication, that some people actually feel it's safe to keep their money there. And now this is a whole other video to do, but I don't believe it's safe or wise to keep so much money in the exchange. It's kind of like, would I walk around with my life savings in my wallet on the street? Probably not. If I was going to put money in my wallet, it'd be a very limited amount, just in case something happened to it. So cryptocurrency, the same thing. I definitely don't advise that you keep thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in the exchange for a few reasons. Anyway, quickly because it's uninsured, with few rare exceptions. And even in the case you are insured, be very careful. Make sure you read the fine print of the terms of insurance, what you would be covered for. So that's a whole different video to talk about, but I'm going to show you what you can do for your Bitcoin really quickly here. So I boot it into my cryptocurrency OS. This is just based off a live CD, right? But you can burn this to a CD like I have. You can also boot it off a USB. So I really encourage you to do that, but you have to be very careful as well. You have to know what you're doing. So remember, this is live. So some people don't understand what live means. It means that it's running live off a CD or live off a USB. And so you see programs here, it looks like a normal operating system, a normal Linux Mint or Ubuntu type of operating system. And it is, but you have to understand what live means. Now, the moment I reboot, I lose everything, including if you open up these wallets here and transfer to your life savings and you reboot, poof, that's it. You've lost everything. So it's very important to understand what you're doing and very important to follow along here if you're not an expert. One thing you can do to avoid this problem is to keep your wallet files and your keys backed up. Somewhere else, maybe a USB stick or something else. Multiple ways, right? In case one fails, you wouldn't want to lose your life savings because you had a dead hard drive or dead USB. That kind of thing. So you'll see here, actually, one way you know you're live, I want to really show you guys here. It says install crypto disk. Okay, if you see this, you are live. And understand it means that the moment you unplug the power or restart your computer, then all the changes you've made here on this live CD are completely gone. Okay, including your coins. So make sure you understand the implications of that. And even if you had installed it, make sure you're backing up your keys. There's so many ways that something could go wrong if something fails. Okay, so always have multiple backups. Now today we're going to be using what I call the Bitcoin Wallet. You click here on the desktop, or I made it as a shortcut here in the Start menu, Bitcoin Wallet. So full disclosure, this is not the official Bitcoin wallet. Now, the reason for that is because you just need hundreds and hundreds of gigs to maintain the actual blockchain data. Okay, so that's why I've chosen to go with the Electrum Wallet. Okay, and a few things that we'll quickly talk about here I've mentioned before, but also you'll notice this here, that the wallet is running as a username BTC-Bitcoin-Electrum. So I've set up every wallet on this computer or on this cryptocurrency OS so that it runs as a different user for security reasons. So in theory, if for some reason one wallet gets hijacked or compromised because of something you've done, then hopefully it shouldn't be able to access the rest of your computer. So that's why I've done that. Anyway, just a quick security feature. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to open up our Bitcoin wallet. It just takes about a minute to load. Okay, so remember, this is the fresh install. It's a live CD, so everything just comes as it would, as if you just freshly downloaded and installed it. Only I've saved you the trouble of finding the safe and secure version here. Okay, so we're in our Electrum Bitcoin here. And we're going to just say auto connect to the server. It's going to choose a server on the Electrum network for us. And so I mentioned this before. The reason that we want to use Electrum is because it's not practical for us to keep, for the average person to download hundreds of gigabytes of blockchain data from the Bitcoin network. to make it work. It is definitely the most secure. If you do have the time, I don't mind making a video showing you how to use the official Bitcoin client. But for most people, this is the best middle ground between having your own Bitcoin full synced wallet with the full blockchain versus keeping it very insecurely on an exchange. Okay, and I say the word exchange in the same sense, no matter how much you love your exchange, they're all generally just as potentially vulnerable. And we'll talk about that in another video. There's just too much that comes up to explain that, but you guys understand my sentiment here. I would never allow a loved one or best friend to keep their money in any exchange. Okay, so we're gonna click on next. Okay, and we'll just call it default. Well, you can call it whatever you want. In a certain sense, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'll show you why. We're not going to be using this immediately. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, and I'm gonna say standard wallet. Okay, now we can, for more security, we can use two-factor authentication. You can use a multi-signature wallet, but it comes with its own caveats as well. You can't actually see your seed, interesting enough, if you don't know your password, which could stop you from restoring your Bitcoin. So I think this is the best middle ground. It is not the most secure way. I'm not claiming that. I just think it's the middle ground to go. And if you're not an expert, I think you should go with a standard wallet, at least at first. Okay, so now that you're on a standard wallet, just pay attention to these two things right now, that we can create a new seed, or I already have a seed. In this case, I'm going to assume you don't have a Bitcoin wallet or you want to use a new Bitcoin wallet. So we'll create a new seed here, guys. Okay, and we'll just say SegWit. That is the latest wallet address format. You can use legacy; it's still going to work for you. But if you're using an older, someone has an older Bitcoin wallet, then you may want to go for a legacy as well. Especially if you're like Satoshi and you want to get out your Genesis blocks from your Bitcoin, whoever that might be. But otherwise, maybe it's best to go legacy for the best compatibility. Okay, so it's going to make a seed like this. Now, this is very important. The great thing about the Electrum Wallet is that it makes it really easy to recover. This is called a paper wallet. Okay, so it's a wallet generation seed. Now, as long as you have this seed, this phrase of words, you can always restore your Bitcoin and gain access to it. But as well, the Electrum team has done well here to warn us. Never disclose your seed, never type it on a website or anywhere, and don't store it electronically. You can do that. Obviously, there's risk of doing that, and I know people are going to do that even if I tell you not to. So if you are going to do that, plug it into the cryptocurrency OS here. Is going to be secure on here. But don't go plugging this USB in, at school and at work, at your business meeting. This should be at least a USB that is kind of kept in under lock and key in a vault that you don't use every day. The moment you plug it in somewhere, it is possible there's some kind of malware that might end up copying it, or that someone might get access to it if you leave it sitting around, at home or at work. Okay, so don't do that. So the key thing is, though, write this down, guys, okay? Don't just copy and paste it. You'll see why as well. To move on to the next phase, I'm going to cheat here, guys, okay? Don't do this, okay? But I'm just doing it for the purpose of showing you guys, okay? But if I was going to have a real wallet, then I would never do this, okay? And you'll see why it doesn't work. A lot of people will copy and paste this passphrase here, okay? You'll see what I mean, the seed. Okay, so now here, Electrum's helping us out. It's going to make us type it. I'm just going to retype what I've shown you guys here, okay? And you got to type it. You can't copy and paste it. They really want to, feel sure that you haven't done what I'm doing here. So do not do this. Make sure this is written on a piece of paper or anywhere else, okay? Because remember, as well, this is not a saved file. And the moment that I reboot, this is all lost forever. Okay, because this is a live CD that I'm running it right now. It makes it very secure, but also nothing is saved. Okay, so remember that. So we'll click on next. Okay, you can set a password if you want. I'm not going to set a password. You can. It's just that, I'm 50-50 on this for some people. See, if you set a password and you come back 5 years later, to take out your rich the Bitcoin, and you have your wallet backed up like this, then it could be bad. But as long as you have received, you're okay. I think that if you have any doubts about if anyone can access your computer, if you walk away for 5 minutes, can someone get to it? Then it might be a good idea to set a password here for your wallet. Okay, and at the moment, I'm not going to do update check. I'm going to talk about this again as well. I would never download an update that is sent to me over the Electrum network. Now, there was an attack at some point where people were sent fake messages over the Electrum network to update, and they end up getting a fake version. So if you ever hear anyone complaining that, hey, I used Electrum Wallet and I lost my money, it's because of probably one of two reasons. They downloaded a fake wallet in the first place from an unreliable source, not from the makers of the Electrum Wallet, so that maybe a copycat site, or they maybe got a fake message over the network. Now, I believe that's been patched, but for that reason, I recommend you never update unless you do it yourself and you're sure you've got the authentic one, or maybe you're using My Cryptocurrency OS and you're just going to get the latest version, so you can rely on it being the correct and safe version here. Okay, so I'm going to say no, I don't want to do an update. Now, one other thing as well I don't like is that by default, it shows your balance in MBTC or milli BTC. Okay, so that means that if you see a balance of 1 here, that's not 1 Bitcoin. That's actually 1,000th of a Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm just going to change the default here. It really could be something that might fool a new user. If you were, say, doing a transaction and someone said, yeah, I'm going to send you this much Bitcoin, they might try and send you some MBTC, making you think that you have more than you do. Okay, so under general, I'm going to change the base unit default to BTC, and that's just for some reason how the Electrum client works by default. Now, what we care about is we want to see our addresses. So you can go click on View and Show Addresses. Okay, so it popped up over here. Now, these are all the list of receiving addresses for your Bitcoin. Now, the cool thing is that, of course, you can reuse that address, okay? But if you're a business, maybe just doing something, a one-time transaction manually with a client, then you would probably want to give them a new address, one that, doesn't have any balance. All right. If you're just a home user or someone who's just investing in Bitcoin, just use anything. All these addresses work just the same. And so, but before we get going, guys, what did I talk about? I mentioned the fact that this is a live CD. Okay, so if you unplug things now and come back, and let's just say you have transferred Bitcoin to one of your addresses here in your wallet, you've now lost it. Okay, so what am I going to suggest that we do? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to reboot the computer here. Okay, reboot the live CD, and then we're going to make sure we can actually get to our wallet still. Okay, so let's do that first and come back and make sure we can actually restore it. Alright guys, so I've now rebooted, and I want to show you what I'm talking about here. The importance of making sure before we proceed to send any Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency to anything on this disk, or not only if you're using cryptocurrency OS, you want to make 100% sure that you have access to your wallet, that you can definitely get it open, and you don't want to send money to your wallet and find out later you don't know how to access it, or you don't have your private key, or something else is wrong, okay? So that's what I've done. So I've rebooted. I'm going to open up the Bitcoin wallet again, the Electrum Wallet here. You can just double click it. We can also go to the start menu here. Okay, so it's opened. You can see here it's just a fresh install because it is a live CD like I mentioned, which meant that everything is wiped out after I rebooted. Okay, and the purpose of this, once again, is to make sure that we can actually get our wallet back. So we don't want to send money to a wallet we can't access. So that's, once again, that's why I'm doing this. I'll give it the default name is totally fine. Standard wallet. Now, we're going to do something a little different here. Instead of saying create a new seed, we're going to say I already have a seed, right? Because we created a seed and a new wallet, just in the scene before this. Okay, so now here's how we find out if we have typed out everything properly. Okay, so I'm going to type the same thing that I had before. Okay, I'm going to type in my seed here. Okay, and click on next. I'm going to leave the password blank, click on next. I'm going to say no to the update, And once again, yeah, I don't like this MBTC, so I'm going to change it. It doesn't stop, it's not going to mess with your money, but I think it is confusing just to look at that balance of being in the proper, Bitcoin BTC format. You don't want MBTC. It's confusing to look at. Let's go again. Let's view our addresses. Okay, you can see all the addresses here and everything. All looks good. And also, of course, if you had a balance, if you did have some coins here, you should be fine. So guys, this is why I want to be really sure about this. So if you do this, now you can be confident at least that you have access to your wallet. Then you can actually go into your exchange and say, for example, log into your exchange, copy this address here. And you really want to make sure as well when you're doing that you do have the right address. Double check it. Sometimes you might have copied something else in the meantime. You don't want to put a bogus address in there and lose all your money. Okay, so don't risk doing that. It's very, very important that you get that part right. So this is what I recommend before you transfer your money. So long as you have your seed and you have the Electrum Wallet, then you should be good. Okay, but I recommend that you're very careful about how you operate. And I definitely recommend my cryptocurrency OS. It's totally free, but I've made it for the community and for my friends and my family to keep their cryptocurrency safe, and just for anybody, right? So you don't keep it on the exchange. So this is a quick example here of how you can, for example, keep your Bitcoin safe in a fairly extremely efficient and fast way. So I hope that's been helpful, guys. Once again, this is Reeps US here, and I'll see you guys next time.